In Nkechi'S town, an orphan named Nkechi lived alone after her parents' death. Though beautiful, she had no interest in marriage, rejecting all the suitors her uncles arranged for her. Obinna, however, saw beyond her defenses and built a friendship with her. He later proposed, but Nkechi initially rejected him. When Nkechi fell ill, Obinna discovered her secret as a bedwetter, but cared for her without judgment. Realizing his sincerity, Nkechi accepted his love. They married, overcoming village gossip, and built a life together founded on love, friendship, and support. This is the story of Nkechi'S secret struggle and the suitors who fled. A long time ago in Nkechi'S town, there lived an orphan by name Nkechi. She lived alone in her hut since her parents passed away. Nkechi never bothered anyone, but as she grew into a woman, her uncles, who had not cared for her after her parents' death, decided it was time for her to get married. They were eager to share the bride price they would receive from her suitor. So without informing her, they began searching for a husband to marry their niece. For sure, it was not going to be a difficult task because Nkechi is a very beautiful woman. When the young men of the village discuss women, Nkechi's beauty is the standard used to evaluate them. However, Nkechi was unaware of all this. Whenever men tried to approach her, she ignored them, and if they persisted, she embarrassed them. Some men would tease her saying, "I guess you're waiting for a king to marry you." But Nkechi did not care. She had no friend and never invited anyone to her hut. The village ladies thought her proud, concluding that her beauty had gone into her head. The only person Nkechi allowed into her life was Nkechi'S, her neighbor in the market where she sells foodstuff. Their conversations never extended beyond the matters of the market. Weeks passed and Nkechi's uncles called her for a meeting. They wanted to discuss their choice of a husband for her. "We have patiently waited for you to bring a husband home, but you have failed. So we have found one for you," one of the uncles said. They told her that their chosen suitor would visit her at her hut the following day. The next day, Nkechi sat in front of her hut, waiting for the suitor. Next to her was a pot of water, which she planned to pour on the man as soon as she saw him. When the man began approaching the hut, Nkechi grabbed the pot, ran towards him, and flung the water on him. Nkechi then picked up a big stick and chased him away. When her uncles heard the news, they were embarrassed and summoned her. Nkechi feigned remorse, knelt down, and promised not to do it again. "It's okay, my daughter," one of them said. "Although you have lost the first man, you have another one for you." The following week, Nkechi again waited in front of her hut for her second suitor, this time with a gun that had belonged to her late father, who had been a hunter. When she saw the man approaching, she fired shots in the air, and the man fled in fear. Her uncles were furious and threatened to deal with her if she continued behaving this way, but Nkechi was unmoved. When the third suitor came, she waited patiently for him a little further from her hut. Pretending to welcome him, she bit his shoulders instead, and the man ran away in pain. News of Nkechi and her suitors spread across the village. Nkechi was pleased. For now, everyone would understand that she was not interested in marriage. However, there was a man named Obinna who was determined to marry Nkechi despite the stories. He believed there was more to her, as she always appeared calm whenever he saw her. He decided to befriend her first, thinking perhaps the men before were strangers to her. One day, Obinna went to Nkechi's shop to buy foodstuff. Her manner proved to him that she was not difficult, so he began visiting her daily, purchasing one item or the other. Eventually, an opportunity to have a real conversation with her presented itself. Nkechi was struggling with some bulk calculations, and Obinna offered the correct answer. Nkechi looked at him doubtfully, but soon realized he was right. She said with a smile, acknowledging Obinna's intelligence. This marked the beginning of a friendship beyond business. Soon, they had regular conversations, and Obinna occasionally helped with calculations. One evening, Nkechi was about to close her shop before Obinna arrived. She unlocked the store just for him. However, as she loaded items into her wheelbarrow, she noticed the tire was flat. "Oh, what will I do now?" Nkechi exclaimed. Obinna offered to help her carry the goods, and after some protest, Nkechi reluctantly agreed. As they walked, Obinna saw it as the perfect moment to confess his feelings. "Nkechi," he said, "I like you. Please, I want you to be my wife." Nkechi stopped in her tracks, staring at him. "Is that why you've been coming to my shop every day?" she asked angrily. Obinna nodded, and Nkechi immediately told him to leave her goods on the road. "Don't help me again," she said, dismissing him. Despite her anger, Obinna refused to leave her stranded and walked ahead with her goods. Nkechi, frustrated, followed after him, warning, "Don't go near my hut or I'll shoot you." But Obinna only intended to help, dropping the items close enough for her to carry them the rest of the way. As he walked away, Nkechi smiled shyly to herself, though she quickly wiped the smile off her face. "I can't marry him," she told herself. The next day, Obinna came to her shop again, but Nkechi would not attend to him. On the third, Obinna went to Nkasobi's shop next door. "I want to buy something from Nkasobi," he said. Nkechi was confused. What could you possibly want to buy from her? "She sells only women's beads." However, Nkasobi, who noticed Obinna's interest in Nkechi, defended him. "Leave my customer alone. Don't chase him away," she said. Every day, Obinna would buy beads from Nkasobi, and Nkechi would eagerly wait for him to arrive, visibly upset when he was late. 2 months later, Nkasobi announced that a suitor had come for her and that she would be leaving the village soon. Nkechi was happy for her friend, but also saddened, realizing she would soon be alone. The realization led her to change her mind. The next day, she sought out Obinna and said, "Well, if you still want to marry me, I'm ready to accept your proposal." Obinna smiled and nodded, thanking her for accepting his proposal. He handed her all the beads he had been buying from Nkechi'S, revealing that they were all for her. Nkechi blushed, but quickly added conditions. We will not live in the same house, and I'll never sleep over at yours. Obinna was puzzled. I will fulfill all my obligations as your wife, Nkechi continued, but my conditions remain unchanged. Obinna pressed her for an explanation, but she refused to answer. Disheartened, Obinna said, I can't live like that, and left her in tears. The next day, Nkechi fell sick and stayed in her hut. Her whereabouts unknown to even Nkechi'S. When Obinna heard she was missing, he became worried and searched for her, eventually finding her sick in her bed. Despite the unpleasant smell in her hut, Obinna stayed and cared for her, calling a herbalist and tending to her. It was then he discovered the cause of the smell. Nkechi is a bedwetter. Embarrassed, Nkechi tried to push him away, but Obinna reassured her, insisting they would face the issue together. But the next day, Obinna didn't show up as promised. Fearing he had abandoned her, Nkechi wandered into the village. But when she saw a group of girls looking at her strangely, she angrily assumed Obinna had revealed her secrets and shouted, "It's not my fault I wet the bed." Just then, Obinna appeared, walking towards her house. Although he was supposed to arrive early that morning, he had stopped to meet with some builders to discuss constructing a new house, a better one with proper ventilation, where he and Nkechi will live as a couple. Realizing he had exposed her secrets to girls who weren't even talking about her, Nkechi ran back to her house humiliated. Obinna followed her, trying to comfort her. "Now the whole village will know," she cried. But he gently reassured her, saying, "No matter what happens, Nkechi, we'll face it together." Looking into his eyes, Nkechi knew he was sincere. He regretted doubting his promise to return for her, and felt even worse upon realizing how he had spent this morning planning for their future. Eventually, Obinna and Nkechi got married and built a happy life together. Obinna supported his wife, helping her manage her condition and making improvements to their home, making it warm and welcoming. Despite what the villagers said, their happiness was all that matters. Nkechi even made new friends who accepted and loved her for who she is. The moral lesson. In today's moral lesson, I want to talk to you about true friendship, the kind of friendship we should all pray to experience in our lifetime. There are times when we face situations that others may judge us for, but having solid friendships can help us survive those tough times. There are friends who destroy each other, but a true friend sticks closer than a brother, right? Even the Bible emphasizes how strong and dependable a real friend can be, even more so than family in some cases. I pray that we all experience this kind of friendship in our lives. Thank you all for your support. If you enjoyed today's story, don't forget to like, comment, and share it with your loved ones. Until next time, It's goodbye from Tabi's Corner. See you all in my next video.